Hello and welcome everyone to the Million Mom Movement. My name is Michelle Ricci and it's July 14th of 2023. And I'm so excited for our call today, traveling with Purium, Wanderlust Unleashed. So our guide to life on the road and on the go with a healthier twist. And our guest today said goodbye to ordinary fast food and hello to an extraordinary lifestyle fueled by nourishing choices. And today we're going to explore the superfood hacks they use to experience the wonders of the world while supporting their well-being. And so whether you're traveling or working remotely or a busy parent or caretaker or living your best van life, embracing this lifestyle keeps you energized, nourished, and ready for adventure, even with the worst of food deserts and locations with little options for food and nutrition. So I'm so excited to be part of this council. I've been here for about 10 months now, and this purpose and passion and mission that we're all on here to educate people on everyday toxins, how to be informed as a consumer, and just live a healthy lifestyle is so important to me. And I am joined by my fantastic council members, Carmela Velarde, Naiva Flore, and Taz Ferrara. And so before we get to our guests, and we have an incredible call for you, I want to pass it to Taz, who is going to go over a really important in the news piece. Taz.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Okay, so how many of you have been on all of our calls and we're talking about appeal? Drop me a 1 in a comment, right? We've done the lunch and learn. We're always talking about it, but you know what? There's more things are happening every day. And when we find out about it, what do we have to do? We have to share it with all of you. So there's an article that came out, but besides just going to the article, let me show you the video of what they're actually doing, okay? Give me a second. Okay. Let me know when you see this. Do you see?
Yes.
Just make sure you share the sound.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Sound. Okay. Let's go to that.
You may have to stop share and then click it on the bottom left when you reshare.
Okay. Oh, it doesn't do that on my iPad. Michelle, can you share it?
Let's see if we can get Naiva to share the video that's in our chat. And then go ahead and stop sharing, Taz.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay.
There we go.
Believe it. This is another coding coming up. So Naiva, let us know if you are able to share that. And in the meantime, for those of you who don't know, Appeal Coating is an emulsifier made from grapefruit seed extract that is being put on our foods to stop them from ripening. And if that wasn't bad enough, there's now more coatings coming out because people are starting to jump on this bandwagon of it's big, there's big money. There's big money in this, and it really solves the problem, not for us as humans or our gut microbiome, but it solves the problem for grocers. So here we go.
Oh, we need the sound.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it back. Sorry about that.
Consumers are unaware that the fruit they eat from the supermarket has been treated with a product called Smart Fresh. Now, before I get into what Smart Fresh is, I want you to see it in action. First, they place the fruit in a hermetically sealed chamber. Then they drop the Zyklon B, Smart Fresh, into some water to form a gas. And then they lock up the gas chamber nice and tight. They leave the fruit there for about 24 hours so that it can soak up all the gas, and voila, your fruit has been contaminated. Smart Fresh. Now, let's look at an apple that's been treated with Smart Fresh and compare it to an apple that hasn't been treated with Smart Fresh. This time-lapse video shows the changes over 3 months. As you can see, the Smart Fresh apple hasn't changed a bit. Most people don't even realize that the fruit they buy at the grocery store can literally be a year old before it's actually sold, and you wouldn't know the difference. Let's see what the makers of Smart Fresh have to say about their product. They say the active ingredient of Smart Fresh is methylcyclopropene, or MCP. They describe it as a simple hydrocarbon molecule. Well, that sounds perfectly innocent, doesn't it? A simple hydrocarbon. What could be wrong with that? Well, examples of simple hydrocarbons are as follows: butane, propane, and even hexane. It turns out they're gassing the fruit with petroleum-based products, ladies and gentlemen. Now they just call it a simple hydrocarbon so that nobody worries about it. I mean, who doesn't like a little diesel with their fruit, right? Their website also states that this can be used with other fruits and vegetables. Yum, yum, yum. Safe and effective for eradicating rodents and the population. If pesticides don't get you, Smart Fresh will, my friends. Smart Fresh is authorized for use with organic foods, because nothing screams organic like spraying hydrocarbons on your fruits and vegetables. And the worst part here is that people are totally unaware. Of course, the makers of Smart Fresh don't actually show you what Smart Fresh is on their website. They do, however, show you pictures of unsuspecting consumers smiling as they eat this nasty cocktail of pesticides and petrochemical additives. And it's all perfectly legal. Imagine eating GMOs that are sprayed with pesticides and then treated with Smart Fresh. What could go wrong there? Not only that, but the makers of Smart Fresh also make other exciting products that can be used before the harvest season.
I'm gonna wipe
If
this
you're
out.
listening to this, you are the reason.
You can take this out.
How awful. Like, did you hear that? That this is going to be on organic foods? Will it be labeled? Will we know? We have no idea. But it's up to us to share this with you so you have this level of awareness that, you know, after a peel, they're just going and they're just doing this to our food and poisoning us and our kids. Back.
Thanks so much. Yeah, this is alarming. And we're not here to be alarmists in the sense that, you know, this world is an awful place to live and there's just nothing we can do. We're here to help you get your heads out of the sand and arm you with information so you can make reasonable choices for your family, because at the end of the day, we are sovereign and it is up to us to vote with our dollar. You hear us talk about this all the time. And so just know that there are companies out there that are trying to help major corporations solve their problems, and it doesn't necessarily benefit us. So the more we know, the more educated we are, the better decisions we can make for ourselves and our families. And we did an excellent Lunch and Learn last month on ways that you can connect with farmers and safe foods for your family. So if you haven't seen that yet, please go check it out. Okay, well, let's begin. I'm thrilled to bring up my first guest, Amy Kranicki, and I believe I see you here, Amy. Are you able to unmute and join me? Oh, it looks like she.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
Hi.
gotcha. Hi, Amy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for joining us. So the topic today is about traveling with superfoods, or Wanderlust Unleashed. And we have so many different stories today, but I really wanted to highlight yours. So can you just spend a minute talking about how you came to this lifestyle and what's most important for you with these superfoods, especially being a woman on the go and things like that?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Michelle, and all the other ladies on the council. Honored to be here. I got to Purium because of my health journey. I had a long battle with fibromyalgia and depression, anxiety, and was searching for a more holistic route, and was introduced to this by a friend. And I mean, in the first 30 days, my transformation was amazing, and I reversed all of the symptoms that I had left going on. So now I use this, I mean, every day. I live this, I drink this every day. And I don't let that stop me when I'm going out, when I'm traveling, when I'm flying, even when I'm just like volunteering at the co-op once a week. So it's just the fastest food I've ever found, and it's healthy. Like I don't have to stop at any kind of fast food places anymore. It's a lifesaver and I feel good. I'm not compromising my health and well-being for when I get that hangry feeling.
I really appreciate that. And there was a time at the beginning where, as you cleaned up your inner landscape, it really shifted your outer landscape. And you really made a huge transition with your life and your relationship and even your location. And so that's never easy to go through things like that. So can you talk about how Purium supported you on a major move across the country?
Yeah, well, in more ways than one, really. It was in 2020 when I found this. So I had a sound business and I was doing sound for live music, and that business kind of collapsed. There was no live music at that time. So when I was introduced to this, I was in a relationship that I kind of knew wasn't going anywhere, but I was also kind of stuck. And what this brought for me was my health and well-being. And as soon as I started having that transformation, I started sharing and turning this into a business. And I really felt like, wow, this is my way of getting on my 2 feet and being able to support myself and get out of this relationship. And that's what I did. And my Purium family were the first people that actually knew that I was doing that. And it was really special. So I went from Illinois to New Mexico, and I drove, and that was what supported me the whole way was superfoods. It was the best travel food, and I didn't have to stop. And during the pandemic, you don't want to stop. It was like a weird time, right? So it was really special just to have that in the car. I could just keep going and driving. So it really supported me in a business and in my health.
Yeah, so put it to in the comments if you can relate to life being hard to digest sometimes. Yeah. And so, this doesn't change life still happening all around us, but it certainly helps to stabilize us and support us and sustain us when life does get in the way and when life is challenging and hard to digest. And so, Amy, I'm so proud of you. You moved to a brand new town where you didn't know anybody and you just cleared a clean slate for yourself. And that's amazing. And in the interim, you decided to become a practitioner. And now it's just been a few short years and your life has completely transformed. So tell us about your daily non-negotiables when you are traveling to somewhere else or in the airport. Is there some routine that you go through always?
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, I don't go anywhere without at least a basic core four plus immune and some other things. So I have definitely a routine of every morning with the aminos, hands down, lemon juice. When I'm traveling, I love the hack of just taking my shaker bottle, putting a green shake in it or whatever I'm doing. I'm loving the dark berry mixed with the Epigenus family right now. That's my go-to. So I'll just put the shake in my shaker bottle, and then I'm able to just grab water through security, fill it up, and then I have my aminos, my shake. I have a whole meal. And one, it's less expensive than airport food, and it's real food. I look at those snacks that they pass out, and it's not free food. It's going to cost you something by taking that stuff. So this is really an amazing way to travel. I've even taken it on a trip to Jamaica. I was at a all-inclusive hotel for a week, but my non-negotiables were like having that biomedic because I knew I don't know what kind of food that was. Like, I don't think it was organic, but I don't know, so every morning in my hotel room, I would start my morning with, aminos and a shake and biomedic and probably some Be Energetic or whatever I'm feeling what's going on that day. And then ending my night with tart cherry. And I usually figure out a way I never travel that light, so I have a packed bag. That's probably me. So I find something to put the cherry juice in, or I use what are those ones called, Michelle?
BioRelax that has
Yes,
the
BioRelax. I take BioRelax with me in place of tart cherry if I can't have a liquid, but I would not travel without that. And I always tell my clients too, like when they want to like pause, oh, we have a trip coming up or something, but like there's no reason to not take this. My clients have taken this to Italy with them on cruises, and you just find the balance. It's not like I have to be on a detox at all times. I'm not cleansing at all times, but I find the balance between making sure that I get that nutrient dense shake in the morning, and then I'm able to like have a nice dinner out with friends and family, and then come home and have the tart cherry, and it just evens me out and makes sure that I don't go back to any kind of like fibro flares or depression or anxiety. Like I don't want to go back there. So this is a non-negotiable. Yeah.
I love it, Amy. Thank you so much for your share. And it's true, same way for me. I travel internationally. I spend 5 to 6 months of the year in another country. And I can tell you when I'm going through different airports, there's absolutely no good choices, especially internationally. So I'm always packing my little stack cups with various servings of the superfoods. And I get to just put those in my shaker cup and add water. And there's times when I am flying from Ecuador, for example, to LA for a work event or for an event, and that's a 24-hour trip. So of course I pack some snacks in my bag, I wash some fruit, I cut it up, but I also have the superfoods, and that can sustain me for at least a whole day. That's all the vitamins and minerals that I need and all my daily nutritional value, and then some. So I really appreciate you bringing that up. And also the biomedic, how important the biomedic is, because even if we do end up somewhere where we're eating out with friends or doing something, we can still come home at night and take that biomedic and help reverse some of the dietary damage that may have occurred during those times out where we don't necessarily know exactly the source of the food. So I appreciate that. And the cherry juice as well, taking it in the form of BioRelax, that is the easiest way to take your cherry juice on a trip with you. And that cherry juice, that BioRelax, can be taken all throughout the day. It is a nerve tonic. So while you may not take the dose that you're taking when you go to bed at night, it's great to take if you stub your toe or have a hard conversation or somewhere that just gets you ramped up. It can absolutely just take the edge off. So those are great tips, Amy. And thank you so much for sharing. I'm so proud of all that you've accomplished. And even like one of the biggest things that you didn't mention was you were able to get off kratom and some very hard sorry, I don't think I'm saying that right. Kratom, and some very harsh medications that they told you you'd be on because of fibromyalgia, and that you would have that for the rest of your life. And I know that you've skied just about every day that the ski resort was open in the past 2 years in Taos. And so congratulations on all of that. And, you know, and bring on my next guest, because she is Chanda. I'll have you unmute. Let's see if I can find you, or if Naiva, can you help me unmute Chanda? And you know, I'll just tell you a little story real quick while we're getting Chanda up and running here. Is we're renting out our house Airbnb, and 3 days ago I moved into my van and dropped my husband off on the Colorado Trail. Well, he'll be hiking 225 miles. So this is my morning routine every morning, and it's so easy in the van. I don't have to cook, I don't have to prep, I don't have to juice, I don't have to even think about it. And in his backpack, which he's under 20 pounds, is his super meal and his Epi family and his power shake and some super lights and some cocoa hydrate for hydrating. So you know, he's not here to tell his story, but I did want to share that with you. And I'm bringing Chanda up. She is a dear friend of mine. And when I was going through the recovery for my systemic inflammatory impairments due to an environmental toxin that caused a brain injury, Chanda is the Ayurvedic practitioner and expert that I went to go see to help support me. And in the interim, Chanda started this lifestyle as well. I mean, Chanda, you've been doing this for a long time, but these superfoods, I should say, and this has really fueled you. You went on a huge bike tour in the Pacific Northwest, which is greatly known as a food desert. And so was it 4,300 miles?
Thank you, Michelle, for having me. I'm delighted to be here. I have to look at my stats because I always forget. So my partner and I went in 2021 on a ride around the Rocky Mountains from our home here in Salida, Colorado. And it was just over 4,500 miles that we rode over 113 days. And we climbed almost 298,000 feet. So that may or may not make sense to any of you, but one of my passions, one of my great life passions is health and exploring health and understanding health. And also understanding our capacity as human beings. What is it that we can be capable of physically and otherwise? So yeah, I'll let you lead me into the next questions, but Purium was a big part of my journey on that bike ride.
Yeah, give us a little background of who you are and where you're coming from, because it wasn't like you found Purium and you decided to go on a bike ride. You are an avid outdoorsman and you're also a practitioner. So why don't you give us a little background, frame it out for us?
Yeah, thank you. So I have been deeply engaged in the study and practice of yoga and Ayurveda, which is the system of health and longevity and medicine that comes out of India. And it's a sister science of yoga. And Ayurveda really teaches us about how to align with the natural healing capacity of our bodies and minds as a way of ultimately accessing our highest potential. And that's something that I'm so passionate about. And one of the ways that I've expressed and explored that in my life is by being out in nature and really seeing, I have my partner to thank for challenging me and putting these adventures in front of me of things that I didn't know if I would be able to accomplish. And so for many years, I have been experimenting on myself using different dietary protocols, daily routines, different types of foods, supplements, medicines, herbs, all kinds of things. And I had kind of, Ayurveda considers digestion to be extremely important. If you think about our whole life, our whole body mind system is nothing more than the process of digestion, taking things in, food, water, breath, and perceptions, transforming that, absorbing what is nourishing, and being able to discern what is not nourishing and being able to eliminate what the body and mind don't need. If there's any disruption in that process, we start to have a problem with our health, right? And now we're living in a time where there's so much toxicity in our food and our water that we don't even know about, like what you just shared. So for me, Purium, it's like every day, these foods become more valuable and more of a treasure as I understand what this actually is, that it's real deep nourishment that's coming from the earth, that's being prepared by people with mindfulness and care, and it's true nourishment. So one of the things, if I'm curious if anyone here is an athlete in any capacity, and do lots of activity, I'd love to see in the chat, like just drop a 1 in the chat. And sorry if my video just went off. I don't know why that happened. Hold on. But there's this thing about like, well, if you're working really hard, you just need a lot of calories and you can pretty much burn up whatever you want. And I always have been skeptical about that because I'm like, it's not just calories, it's also nutrients. Like, what is the information and the energy that we're taking in? And how much of a difference does that actually make? And I started using Purium also in 2020, late 2020, early 2021. And I can tell you that the difference that I have experienced now with sustained use is just incredible in terms of how it provides a different mindset, a different emotional state, a different, more even support and trajectory of energy. So on that bike ride, I made an investment and I bought a whole bunch of those nutrients ahead of time and I packed them in individual serving containers of Ziplocs that were, some of them were plastic Ziplocs and some of them were biodegradable Ziplocs. But my whole thing is packing light. And I had like a brick of Purium that I would pick up in my supply box, in addition to all the other calorie related food that I was carrying. And I always try to get the cleanest foods that I can. But with the Purium, I knew that I had this baseline of real nutrition to help combat the inflammation. So I was taking 10 aminos a day. I was taking Joint Flex off and on. I was taking the Be Energetic intermittently to support the adrenals, power shake. I also use cocoa hydrate with super lights, and I like to take the super light out of its capsule and put it into a liter of water with a teaspoon or two of the cocoa hydrate, and that's my go-to electrolyte. I had the Biomedic. There's more that I had, but you know, I used those foods extensively, and it was a big part of supporting. You know, I was able to accomplish that, and to me, that was just a miraculous thing. To, you know, with great respect to this body of what it's capable of doing when it's supported, right? When we have the support, what are we capable of? That's the real question for all of us, because you're all, a lot of you are moms. I mean, I'm sure you're all being heroes in your own life in some way or another. So you need the support, right?
Yeah, I'm sure as moms, we definitely feel like we're climbing thousands and thousands of miles of vertical every day.
Yes.
I'm sure of it. So thank you for that. And this part that where, you know, how we became connected and you supporting me on my journey to recovery. And, you know, you are a practitioner as well. And so I know you saw a change in my body, and you still continue to see a change in my body at the 3.5 year mark. And I mean, it's evident to me in my eyes and in my hair, and it just keeps getting better. I'm halfway through a regenerating my entire system 7-year cycle. But there was some profound impacts on your mom as well, which is really why when you started seeing things change in me, you really leaned into this for your mom. So do you want to briefly touch on that? And then I would love for you to talk about your practice as a practitioner and how these superfoods support you, because we're not all climbing mountains, but we are busy in our real lives. So yeah, let's head in that direction.
Sure. Yeah. So my mom, who's, you know, I'm so close to her, she's also a healing practitioner for almost 40 years, had a very strong therapy practice and focused on nervous system health and unwinding trauma through the body. And in early 2021, in late 2020, she went into a crisis, a health crisis situation that was super intense. And it actually caused me to close my practice for a time to try and support her and help my folks out. And Michelle, because of what you had been through, you know, you were just like, I know that these foods can help her. I know these foods can help her. We've got to get it. And I have a very strong, I'm going to call it a skeptical part, but it's really a part of me that is so concerned about finding the truth and only offering to myself and especially to others what I feel is the real, true, best possible thing that I found. And so I had done so much experimentation with supplements and different superfood things. And I found that a lot of those are kind of gut bombs. They're just like the more dense, complex foods we can combine and put all together in one shake. And it's like, it's not really digestible. And I had spent a lot of time and money on supplements and different things and found mixed results at best. And so I was kind of like, you know, I'm on to just the natural thing and the basic simple thing. And finally, Michelle, one of the things I love about you is that you don't ever give up and you're so loving and you just hold that space. And so finally I said, all right, we're going to try this. My mom was willing to try it out, go on to a full nutrient therapy protocol to support. And I said, all right, I'm going to do it. We're going to do it for my mom. We're going to see what happens. And it was a part of her completely turning herself around. So she's still in process with this. It's a serious neurological degenerative condition. At least that's what she's been told. She's not totally buying into that, but it's a major challenge in her life. But she's now gone from a place of not being able to use her hands, barely being able to stand up at all, to walking miles a day, practicing qigong, being able to wash dishes, prepare meals, sometimes drive herself, you know, an hour back and forth from their mountain home, living up in their mountain home. And then with my benefits that I saw in my own body, I now have said at a certain point, I was like, all right, I'm going to start telling people in my practice about these foods because they are unequivocally beneficial. So I like checked it out. I really took a lot of time. And it's like, yes, these things are so helpful. And my own journey through some detoxification practices that were actually not good for me, I created gut problems that it's taken me 5 years to work my way out of. And Purium has been really helpful in rehabilitating that. So I had skin problems, I had all different types of issues with my gut, and Purium has been so helpful for that. So as far as my daily protocol right now, I'm similar to Amy. I use the aminos. I take 10 aminos a day. I would love to take 15 or 20, but for a sustainability of like a budget and other things, I try to stay on 10. I take them first thing in the morning with warm water, and I take them at night before bed. I'm actually using Power Shake combined with the dark berry, and I'm finding that that's really great. And I also can't beat this, and I add the carrot juice plus to support me with that morning breakfast. And I find that that holds me for quite a while. Mid-morning, sometimes I like to have a snack of fruit. You know, I'm taking Biomedic, I'm taking the hair, skin, and nails right now. I have taken the zinc aid consistently, and like this month I took a break from it, but I am going back onto it next month. So kind of that core 4 plus immune. I use a combination of Epigenius and Super Love when I'm out on a bike ride or when I'm on a hike, or for an afternoon snack if I get hungry at work, you know, before or after classes or sessions with clients. And I love that Super Love with the Epigenius as a recovery drink after exercise, because it's got those adaptogens. It's got really nice support on that level. And like I said, the Cocoa Hydrate and Super Lights. What else am I missing? You know, there's just so much. I also love the BioRegen. That's another fantastic one. I can actually see and feel a difference in my skin. So I went off of that because I wanted to see what the dark berry and the hair, skin, and nails could do for me for a month. And then I'm planning on adding that in my next round. So I love just experimenting with all of this. You know, I found that for myself. I also use ionic elements in with that breakfast drink. And I find that 2 tablespoons of the tart cherry in warm water or coconut water with about 20 drops of the ionic elements, that is the best for, I can really feel the difference in the sleep quality when I do that in the evening time. So those are kind of some of my favorites. I mean, there's so much more, but I'm just constantly experimenting. And one of the things I love about it is that I notice, like I said, these are high vibration, real foods from our Mama Earth. And there's just so much potency in that. And it really does affect our whole vibration, our way of being, our outlook, our perception, what we can sense and feel, and therefore what we can offer to others. And for me in my practice as a yoga therapist, all of those things are paramount. And being able to support myself so that I feel resourced, so I can be present from a place of being resourced, it's just so important. So I'm really grateful to have Purium in my life, and continue to be grateful to observe people like you, Michelle, and my mom, and see what happens as we get nourished and how our body changes and how our whole life opens up. So, yeah.
Amazing. Love you so much, Chanda. And thank you. And so just to wrap it up, this supports you in supporting others. Do you feel like you're more connected and you're more receptive to, you know, what you need to pick up on when you're working on another human body?
Absolutely, unequivocally. You know, so much of the work that I do and practice and study is learning how to attune ourselves, our sensory organs, because the sensory organs are guiding the motor organs, the organs that perform actions in life, right? And what's behind the sensory organs is the mind. And our energy flow is affecting all of that. So our inputs are so important. When we have those higher vibration inputs that supports our internal balance of our body, then definitely I notice the support. Just when my gut, it's like the difference between being really hungry or having your gut rumbling around with a bunch of gas from something that you can't digest, or having heartburn, and you're trying to be there for your kid, you know, but you're not feeling that great within yourself. You've got a headache, like that's hard. You know, it's hard. And when we feel good, when we're satiated inside of our body, we're so much more, for me, it's so much easier for me to be present to the person in front of me and to really tune into them, because there's not something in my system that's crying out for attention. So I've been really studying a lot about nourishment as it relates to longevity and sustainability, because, you know, the more nourished we are, the less our system is in a fight or flight. And when we're regulated, you mamas know, when you're regulated, it's way easier to regulate those kiddos. It's way easier to give them the feedback of what a balanced system, how a balanced system deals with this crazy world, because the world's crazy, right? That doesn't change. At least my world hasn't gotten less crazy, but my ability to be present to myself and with others, definitely these foods support that. It's such a level. And like I said, the more I use it and the longer, like I just went to a retreat this last weekend and I was amazed at, I could really feel, because I was spending a lot of time internally in meditation, and I could really feel the high vibration of these foods and how they were supporting me. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you actually shared with others that were tanking at the retreat, right? And that was so helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody was bonking really bad, and I said, how about you want to try this? And I gave her just a little mixture of, you know, super love and epigeneus. That's what I had. And I said, just try this and see how it tastes. And if you don't like it, you could just throw it out, you know. And she's tasted it and she's like, this is delicious. And then it totally revived her in like 10 minutes. She was like, I feel so much better. So yeah, I'm
Beautiful,
loving, I'm
Sandra.
seeing some things come across on the chat, and I just want to acknowledge you guys. I'm loving it. I'm so glad to be able to share. Yeah.
Thank you. And stick around because we might have some time for some questions. So thank you, Chanda. And yeah, you know, I do the dark berry with the power shake in the morning and the dark berry with the epi in the evening. And a lot of times I just open the refrigerator and there's nothing I really want. I just want my shake, especially in the evening. So if I hit the mark in the afternoon when my digestive fires are high, I'll have a nice big, you know, meal of veggies. And a lot of times I'm so nourished on a cellular level and hydrated on a cellular level. Really all I want is the superfoods. So I'm going to bring up the next mama. And I also take 12 of the BioRegen a day just because I'm working on something in particular. Yep, it's a pretty penny, but also the results. I mean, if you have watched me over the past 6 months and seen my transformation just in these 6 months after the 3-year mark, it's really quite an interesting experiment. And that's what we're doing. We're working on ourselves and then sharing with others. And people can taste it the minute they put this liquid sunshine in their mouth. They know, their cells know, even if they don't understand what is happening. So beautiful, Chanda. Thank you for your incredible share. The next person I want to bring up is Miss Mary Beth Fleming. And I wanted her to share because Mary Beth has a new baby, 2 kids and 2 other kids. They're all under the age of 4. And she is such a busy mama and an incredible leader and entrepreneur and just woman who knows her worth. I mean, she is out there leading the charge for all of us. And she has a husband that she brought over from another country, and that's a whole story. And he travels for work and teaches drumming and dancing. And so Mary Beth, how do you use these superfoods to manage all of this? Do you want to give us a little backstory about what your life is like? And then let's talk about how you use superfoods to sustain it all. And you've even turned it into a business. So let's see, can somebody help me unmute Mary Beth?
I'm
Perfect.
good. Thank you, Michelle and Chanda. What a beautiful share. And Amy, I just love hearing these stories. It re-inspires me after 5 years on this superfood journey. So to give a little backstory, before I found Purium, from like the ages of 21 to 26, I basically just traveled the world. I was volunteering, working on the road. And I wish so badly that I had Purium then, because a lot of times I was traveling to third world countries. And unfortunately, there's a lot of imported processed foods that come to those countries. And I was always, sometimes I just wouldn't eat because I'm like, I don't know what to eat. You know, I had been on a healthy lifestyle for a while, so I didn't ever go to the fast food. But, you know, I would bring herbs, and sometimes I was at the market and I didn't know what was organic and not. And so I think about when I go on my traveling journeys again internationally, when my kids are a little older, how supportive that will be. And then I had my family starting when I was 27, and my husband is from Guinea, West Africa. So we met over there, and His nutrition, basically what sustained him was more like a bread and rice diet. And he had chronic malaria for years, lots of waterborne diseases and things. And so when he came over, he was a little bit in rough shape. And literally what has brought him back is the superfoods. We have yet to do a very intense detox protocol or anything, just because his body's not quite there yet. But the superfoods have gotten him to a place where he is symptom free of malaria and these things that really brought a lot of havoc to his life for many, many years. So just watching the transformation of my husband has been amazing, and watching him go from not knowing much about nutrition at all to really embracing this lifestyle. And he now is the one that's like, did you take your aminos? Here's your shake. Like, he's so into it because he feels the difference, and he's a musician. He sometimes will drum for 8 hours a day. And so he really needs that nourishment and that sustenance. So Purium has been amazing for re-nourishing him and then giving him the energy he needs to sustain. And then as a family, so we travel almost every weekend in the summer to support my husband in his events and conferences and classes and workshops. And I'm so grateful we have Purium, because we do have 3 small children. We have a 5.5, a 3.5, and a 6-month-old. And I've been nursing the entire time. So we bring a huge bag of Purium in our car. Sometimes we've been on many cross-country road trips as well, over to California, the East Coast. So sometimes it's a quick few-day trip. Sometimes it's a 2-week-long trip. And sometimes you're in a small little town that you've never been to, and there's nothing to eat. And you have 3 hungry children and a really hungry musician who just played music all day, and you got to feed them. So we bring all the aminos. My husband does take 15 aminos a day. I take 10 a day. My kids each take a few. I really let them be in tune with that process and what they need. We always have like the Epigenius family on hand. The juice bar in a bag is like our lifesaver. And then anytime the kids are, in the car and getting restless, or, we just pick out the superfoods. We're like, I think you need some cocoa hydrate right now. That might make you feel better, and that keeps them sustained through the long car drive, or a little bit of apothecary to help them sleep a little better in a long drive. So these superfoods are our go-to. And, there's oftentimes when we'll stop on the road and get something to eat. And we've kind of really trained our kids to ask, is this organic? Especially my older son. And the other day we were at a restaurant when we were traveling on the road, and he asked, is this organic? And they were like, no. And Faya looked at me and he's like, Mom, I'm so glad we have our biomedic. And he's 5.5, and he only knows what we've been telling him. So AT&T, my husband, often if we stop on the road and we can't find anything organic, he's like, let's just do superfood. Let's just do our Purium. We've got shakes, we've got fresh fruit. So it has sustained me as a mother so much. Chanda, as you were saying, as us moms, with 3 young children, I often feel like I run a marathon every day. So my superfoods, one, because I have 2 businesses and I'm busy, but I can just grab them and go. I know there were times when I was first starting this mothering journey where I didn't have Purium yet, and I didn't know what to grab. Like I would just grab a piece of bread or something that wasn't really sustaining and nourishing me. Whereas now I can just grab my shake, fill up some water. I know I'm good. If we're in a rush to get out the door, I'm just like, kids, grab your power shakes, let's go. And we can go, so these superfoods have been so supportive in so many aspects of our lives. And I just can't wait to travel more internationally with my children too, and bring a lot of these superfoods back to Guinea, West Africa for my husband's family and community as well. Because that's a big part of what we're doing over there, is trying to help educate around local sustainability and also nutritional sustainability too. So it will be exciting the day that we can go over there and bring some of this nourishment to his family as well.
I appreciate that, Mary Beth. And it's great. I actually took 60 pounds of Purium with me to Ecuador for 4 months because I knew I wouldn't be able to get it there. And, that it's important, I'm in a place where I'm spending $11 a week on fruits and vegetables, which was amazing. And then really doing the deep dive with the nutrients. So it's absolutely fantastic to be able to do that. And I just appreciate your share and all that you've been through and the leadership that you give to all of us, really. So thank you very much. So I'm going to have, Chanda, you're unmuted. So if Naiva, if you could bring up the pledge, and then if anybody has a question, put your hand up. We might have time for one before we move into the rest of the call. We might have time for one or two. So Naiva's going to pull up our pledge. I'll have Chanda read it. And if you put your hand up, we'll get to your question after that.
All right, here we go. You guys can hear me, right? Good, because I can't tell on my cell phone if I'm muted or not. Million Mom Movement pledge. I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement. Yeah.
It's hard not to
I know.
get teary-eyed when we read it. I still to this day, so I get it. And thank you so much. So I don't see any hands up. Does anybody, any of our council members have any questions for our guests? Okay, then without further ado, I'm going to pass to Naiva. So please, everybody grab your phones. It's time for call to action. And we're still working on that list of grocers that use appeal coding and are going to be carrying it proudly. Naiva.
Hey, thank you so much, Michelle, for such an incredible topic today and for all the guests that came and shared their stories. It's so wonderful to hear from each one of you, how these superfoods have impacted you during your travels and just the hindsight story with how things are working for you now and how these superfoods are really supportive, because I can totally relate to all of that. And I love being able to have these superfoods on hand at all times. So we're going back to this article from Moms Across America. And on this article, they do have a list of the appeal available in these following grocery stores. So we've been going down this list over the past month and a half and really just calling out different companies. And today we're calling out Kroger, which is a mother company of several other companies. It's really like the head of so many other companies, and we'll go into that in a minute. But what I'd like you to do is pull out your phones, and we're going to go over to Instagram, and I'm on the Kroger page. So if you'll just go to Instagram, go to Kroger Co. And on this page, we're going to scroll down. I actually made the post last week, so it's a little ways down on here now, I suppose. I'm actually not seeing the post that I had commented on, so I'm not sure if they deleted it or what happened. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead, let me stop my screen share and grab what I want us to be posting. Sorry, I thought it was there. It was there the other day when I posted it. So let me go grab this. We're going to go ahead and post on that and share basically that we're concerned about the health of our food, the food that they're producing and sharing at this grocery store. And we all know that Kroger is a mother company to many other companies, and it's not necessarily, they don't have the best practices. Kroger is associated with Ralph's, Dillon's, Smith's, King Scoopers, Fry's, QFC, City Market, Owens, JC, Payless, Baker's, Gerb's, Harris Teeter, Pick and Save, Metro Market, and Mariano's. So these are all part of the multi-department stores with Fred Meyer as well. So it's really important for us to know if any of those grocery stores are in your area, then know that Kroger is the mother company of those other chains. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again now that I grabbed my little caption, and we're going to go do this together. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll post it on this fun fruit cup. Let's do this one right here. So we know that a lot of our fruits and vegetables are the ones that are coated with this coating with appeal. So I'm going to go on this post of this fruit cup, and I'm going to go ahead and make this post here from the Million Mom Movement. And if you'll go and just respond to this, a really easy way to show your activism and to show that we're aligned on this movement is to just go comment back, reply to this post in these comments. So you can just reply to the comments and just let them know that you're also concerned, so they can see that, you know, the Million Mom movement isn't standing alone with this concern, but we have a huge movement of people standing behind us that are also concerned, that want to know that we're making a difference. So you can see here, it's quoted, "I appreciate your attention to sourcing organic produce, and as a concerned mom and member of the Million Mom movement, I was particularly concerned that you are at the top of the list for grocery distributors that approve the new use of appeal coating, even on organic produce. I have spent hours researching how these coatings are made and how the diglycerides from the grapeseed are extracted and processed. Do you know that appeal coating is exempt from pre-market approval or any health effect studies or long-term use? Are you also aware that emulsifiers, which is the category this coating is linked to, is connected to gut dysbiosis, digestive issues like Crohn's disease, a chronic inflammatory disease that affects the lining of our gut?" So let's see where I lost my where I was at, but you get the point here. And we just want you to go ahead and reply to the comments and share what you're concerned about, share that you're a part of this movement and that you are also aligned with wanting to know more and wanting to have them be more transparent with what they're doing to our fruits and vegetables, especially in these major chain stores where they are the mother company of so many other stores that we may be shopping at, or they might even be the only access that we have to groceries. In a lot of states, these stores are the main grocery stores. And so we do want to bring it to their attention as well as all of your attention, to be aware that a lot of our fruits and vegetables are now being coated with these emulsifiers that are not necessarily safe or proven safe for our health. So passing it back to you, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Naiva. Thank you. This is so important, right? That's who we are. We are the movement of many. That's what MOM stands for. You don't have to be a mom to be part of this activism arm or to be involved in everyday activism in your life. And that's what we're here to do, is to raise awareness and call out these companies. So thanks to you that pulled out your phones, that are commenting. And don't forget, you can screen record and make a reel out of you posting. You can formulate your own paragraph and comment on these companies. You can respond to ours, and then don't forget to tag us. So we're going to go to Carmela now. She is going to talk to you about how to stay connected to us, to our events, to our weekly events, and what's coming next. Carmela.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And thank you all for your activism and for participating in the call to action. And it was a great call. Thank you all so much, the speakers, Mary Beth, Chanda, and Amy. Amazing testimonials that I definitely want everybody to continue to share on, because there's so many in our communities whose testimonials need to be heard far and wide. So I put into the chat this week's Lunch and Learn, guys. So we're continuing the summer theme, Sustainable Summer, and it's from plastic off-gassing to toxic sunscreen mixes and synthetic fabrics. We've got your back. We're thinking about you out there trying to make a difference, living more clean and green for yourself and for your family. So we want to help you to conquer hidden threats, nurture your well-being, and prepare for a brilliant summer. And just make sure to share this invite on and respond, RSVP. We really would love for everybody to
Uh-oh, we lost your audio.
Oh, go ahead and unmute one more time, Carmela. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, next Friday, we'll be coming to you live from the Diamond Club in LA. So we're really, really excited for those who've qualified or those who have a team that's qualified that's attending. The Million Mom Movement will be attending, and it'll be a great affair. So if you've never been, or you're excited to go, or you're just curious about what it is, contact the person who invited you to this Zoom, and they would love to share with you a little bit about our superfood entrepreneurship. And then just how you can reach us and follow up with us in the future. Hang on a moment. There it is. So in the future, you can find this replay of this Zoom on our YouTube channel at Million Mom Movement. So you can look at all the replays there, and you can go through all the topics and the different incredible shares of the community. You really have to dive in to understand. And when you have a health coaching practice with our organic superfoods as a vehicle, you're going to want to utilize these tools as a great follow-up. You know, these stories are what really impacts people's lives. And if you can tug at their heartstrings and you can build community together with people, come to our Facebook group page. We have two. You can like our Facebook group page at the Million Mom Movement. And then we have at the Million Mom Movement Official. So we have tons of access to resources, as well as the replay and links that are on this group page, including the in the news pieces. And on our Instagram, follow us as well at Million Mom Movement. And you can hashtag us, please, on any post stories, reels that you have that are really kind of on brand to healthy living and raising a healthy family, raising yourself first. Hashtag Million Mom Movement, hashtag I am the Million Mom Movement, hashtag we are the Million Mom Movement. And we'll find you there and repost you so that you can be featured on our stories and our walls in our pages. And then we do have a Twitter page as well. So everything that's posted on Instagram or on our Facebook is in our Twitter accounts. So we invite you to be there with us in all those spaces if you can, and just continue to make this movement a true movement. I pass it back to you, Michelle.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Chanda and Mary and Amy and all of you that are here and all of you that are watching the replay for being part of this important mission. We are so delighted to be doing this and coming to you every week and to be doing this with you. We are truly stronger together, and all ships rise with the tide. So, thanks again. We're going to go ahead and stop recording, and I would love for you all